was about, and he doesn't even know why she voted it down. Instead, they get a headline. He just did exactly what I accused him of doing. I knew this before even reading it. I didn't even know she had a public statement about this, but she does, right? Like, he's not even engaging with what's being said. He just reads a headline. He invents a whole reality about how she hates voters and loves corporations and AI, I guess, fucking femboy robots or whatever, and then that's it. That's all we have. It's like, what is the engagement? There's no real engagement here. It's so boring.
Power. Her engagement is directly with the AI companies. They kind of treat voters like how a teacher treats students, not gonna lie. Yeah. Anyway, do you think this represents the interest of the Democrats in Maine? Do you think the Democrats in Maine are happy about this? Do you think this has anything to do with the voters in Maine? Do you think that Chuck Schumer picked Janet Mills to be potentially the oldest first-term senator in U.S. history because she would do such a good job of representing the people of Maine? Is this all liberal to you? Does this feel liberal? Graham Plattner's body could be covered head to toe in Totenkopfs, and voting for him would still be more liberal than voting for Mills. He could have so many Totenkopfs on him, it's like he's wearing blackface, and it wouldn't matter.
Like, so based, bro. Political commentary, I think this would be one of the laws I would enforce. You should have an obligation to have some kind of confrontational discourse. It can't just be that everybody can go run off into their own.
Does anybody find it ironic that I'm responding to this, which automatically disproves his original assertion that I don't engage with discourse? The fact that I'm engaging with this in the first place disproves the entire, argument. I engage with people that disagree with me all the time. Just because I don't want to sit in a Discord call and argue with you doesn't mean that I'm not engaging people that are disagreeing with me. Destiny is saying this because Destiny is a debater. Destiny likes arguing with people and debating them. I have no problem. I have engaged with multiple things that Destiny has said.
I don't care. You don't have to debate me. Fuck. Nobody has to debate me. I'm not saying you got to. I don't think. Have I in the past 6 months even challenged Asmongold to a debate? I know there was a time where we were going back and forth a bit, and I was like, fuck, it doesn't have to be me. It could be fucking anybody. I just don't like that people can live in their own little media bubbles. I know he's going to make this argument that, I react to stuff online, but it's different. It's more sanitized that way. It doesn't really prove shit. We've seen enough examples on my stream. Asmongold has probably seen enough examples of me doing this on my stream, where somebody can make a video or whatever the fuck else, and it kind of sort of seems like they know what they're talking about, and then in an actual conversation where they have to defend their opinions, you find out, oh shit, this guy doesn't know fuck all about what he supposedly, made some video about. The whole point of I'm really critical of all the people that are marketplace of ideas. We need to have an open marketplace of ideas. If that's true, the ideas have to clash with each other, right? That marketplace implies some amount of flow between different areas. Not everybody releases whatever slop they want onto the internet on their own corner that's algorithmically reinforcing whatever view they have, and there's no contact made with anybody else at the end of the day. That's retarded.
And I've made videos responding to them. That's not good enough for him. He wants to be able to argue with you in a Discord call. I don't want to argue with somebody in the Discord call. I can listen to what you're saying, and then I'll respond to it on my own time. If that's unacceptable for you, then that's your own problem. But at a fundamental level, I am engaging with ideas that are disagreeing with me all the time. I do it constantly. I spend most of my stream engaging with things that I'm disagreeing with, explaining my positions, and talking about them. So this entire premise of this is just bullshit. It's bullshit, and at the end of the day, why would I do something I don't even like doing? Cry about all you want, get upset all you want, but I only operate inside of my frame of reference, and I only do things that I feel like doing. And if people don't like that, that's their problem. So yeah, if you want to respond to or say some sort of comment that's criticism or anything like that, then I usually will listen to it. I do. I'll usually listen to it. And so the entire premise of this isn't true.
You fucking autist.
There's orders, and I think that a lot of the folks that listen to that little waste of space twerp Hassan Piker, they don't understand that he's monetizing this, by the way. So he's saying these things that maybe he believes, maybe he doesn't, maybe he adds an extra layer of filth on it for a little more money. They're making money off of saying these disgusting things, right? And so he sits there in his little podcast mic, and to me, he's a worthless waste of space. However, the First Amendment protects his right to be a worthless waste of space. That's why it's incumbent upon parents now more than ever to know what your kids are watching, to have honest discussions at home, make sure that they're not watching people like that and getting horrible ideas.
Little twerp is pretty funny. I'm 6'4", 240 pounds. Okay? There are not that many guys that look like me on the Republican side. Let's be real.
There was one comment I made to Lab to break her brain, and it was that mid-Jew pussy comment, but that was the thing that sent her so far off the edge that she just could never come back from it. I think that if these Republican types started shitting on Hassan's appearance more, I think Hassan might kill himself, unironically.
Okay, calling me a fucking little twerp.
Did he just flex for the camera?
Okay, calling me a fucking little twerp is very funny.
Everything else, though, true. But twerp?
Michael Fusco Art, thank you for the 50 bones. Goddamn. Is it 50? 67 bones. 6'7". Oh God, I'm sorry.
I'm not a twerp.
I thought we were talking about criminals.
The UAE leaving OPEC has anything to do with this war /
Wait,
Iran
what?
going on? You didn't see this?
No.
The UAE left OPEC today. They put out a whole statement on it, and I was kind of considering if this could be like a tangible win for the Trump administration.
Why would that be a win for them? Why would the UAE leave OPEC?
I'm not sure. Yeah,
That seems.
they were saying it's better for their. I mean, they did a whole release on Twitter, kind of explaining why, but they just say it's like better for us right now.
Interesting. Okay.
And OPEC Plus. I don't know if that means anything to you.
Israel does have a nuke. It is it's a violation of the nuclear proliferation agreement. They're not supposed to have one. Everybody knows they have it. In fact, technically, they shouldn't even be our ally because they have a nuclear weapon, but somehow they're above all of these rules. Now,
Wait, but we have allies with nuclear weapons now.
I assume that there's some allies who can, or there's people who can have nuclear weapons, and there's some who can't, right?
Maybe. The Treaty on the Non-Proliferation of Nuclear Weapons opened for signature in 1968 and in force since 1970. I wonder when it's claimed that Israel had acquired theirs. I feel like it probably would have been around then. I should do more research on
in the 70s. Yeah.
Well, it was before 73, and I think after 67, so sometime in that ballpark.
Was this like a known thing that they were just doing it and nobody gave a fuck?
I think it was known-ish, yeah.
Because I think the only person I've read, or the place
God,
I've
the
read
op
that
is
that has
garbage
done
now.
it fully in secret, but then gave it up was Switzerland.
I don't know as much about that. That might be true. I would assume it's true. I feel like I've read that too. Everybody was trying to get nukes in the Cold War.
Mm-hmm.
And I think South Africa had gotten nuclear weapons, and I think Israel was testing theirs alongside South Africa. And then South Africa gave theirs up as well, and Israel didn't, because I don't think Israel ever publicly announced that they had them. Although I think
Had them
everybody
ever?
knows that they do, yeah.
Do we agree, like, knowing what we know now, that giving up nuclear weapons was kind of a fool's errand?
For who?
With what happened to Ukraine? Well, I mean, Ukraine, obviously, right?
Kind of, yeah. I mean, the issue was, I've heard different things, I haven't read this in depth. And it's
I
gonna
did
come and
absolutely
tell me.
garbage.
I don't think Ukraine had the ability to maintain or utilize that nuclear stockpile. I think that, like, all the launch codes and everything and the ability to make, because they need, like, I don't know, Michael Sartain was talking about this, you need, like, tritium to, like, reinforce the nukes and to keep them active and serviceable and in commission, and you need, like, missiles and warheads to, like, you need missiles to attach a nuclear warhead to and everything. I don't know if Ukraine would have had the ability to use them or, like, to utilize them at all. I just don't know. I don't think they did. So
Do you think that having one is, like, enough?
Probably would be my guess, yeah. Dr. Strange, thank you for gifting 6 tier 1 subs. But I think that, I mean, we want less people to have nukes, but obviously if you're Ukraine, you feel like you kind of got fucked on that, which is fair to say, yeah. Like, not good.
Oh, yeah, agreed. I definitely want less countries to have nukes, but I think going forward with what happened in Ukraine, everybody is not going to be, you know.
South Africa.
Yeah, that would be the message,
excited.
yeah. Is that, like, you should have nuclear weapons because otherwise you don't get any, because you have no guarantee that anybody will protect you now, that the U.S. has just abandoned its place in the world, I guess, yeah. We'll watch this real quick. Quick video, 4 minutes.
South Africa is the only nation in history to unilaterally disarm its own nuclear weapons. Others have relinquished theirs, like Ukraine did, but those were Soviet weapons they inherited and not their own home-developed ones. Given that no other nation has ever developed such powerful weapons and then just decided they didn't want them anymore, this raises the question: why did South Africa give up its nukes? So,
Oh my god, he said raises the question instead of begs the question. Good job.
first of all, a bit of background on South Africa. By the 1970s, South Africa's global position was complicated. The country was run by its white minority, and its government introduced a social system known as apartheid, which means separation. This system restricted the black majority's freedoms in the country. These policies towards the black majority in South Africa meant that its relations with its neighbouring countries weren't exactly great, with the sole exception of Rhodesia, obviously. As for its broader international relations, these changed over time. Its relationship with the USSR and the communist world was always terrible, whereas its relations with the USA and the UK were pretty good in the 1960s, but as time went on, they soured. Early on, the US also had laws which enforced segregation, but when these laws were repealed, it became increasingly less acceptable to maintain good diplomatic relations with South Africa. And by the 1970s, South Africa was largely isolated. Things were made worse when Portugal, who had been covertly supportive of South Africa, withdrew from its African colonies, leaving it even more isolated. And it was this isolation which led to South Africa developing its own nuclear weapons, although it took a long time for the government to come to this conclusion. Its thinking was that if its survival were to be threatened, then none in the international community would help it. Thus, the only surefire way of guaranteeing that the current South Africa would see tomorrow was to build a nuclear arsenal, the mere existence of which would deter aggressors. So South Africa had had its own nuclear program since 1948, but this was devoted to nuclear energy, making economic use of the country's abundant uranium deposits. In 1965, with the help of the USA, it commissioned its first nuclear reactor, and in 1970, Prime Minister John Forster authorized the creation of a uranium enrichment facility. Although he stressed that this would only be for peaceful purposes, exactly 0 people believed him. In the late 1970s, events to the north in Angola changed government policy. You see, Angola was undergoing a civil war, which had seen the intervention of Cuban forces, which were in turn backed by the USSR. South Africa saw this as a direct threat to its very existence, and so this was when Prime Minister Peter Botha pushed to develop nuclear weapons. South Africa's first nuclear weapon was finished in November 1979. So by 1989, South Africa had 7 nuclear bombs of about the same sophistication.
1979, which would have been 9 years after that treaty was signed.
yield as the bomb dropped in Hiroshima. An election in the same year saw Frederick de Klerk elected as president. In his priority, by 1989, South Africa had 7 nuclear bombs of about the same sophistication and yield as the bomb dropped in Hiroshima. An election in the same year saw Frederick de Klerk elected as president. And his priorities were to end South Africa's international isolation, which would be done via internal reforms. To be blunt, apartheid's days were numbered, and it was his job to make sure the transition away from it wasn't too civil war-y. This transition would then bring South Africa back into the international community, which was more important now that the Cold War was over. You see, prior to this, the West could tolerate apartheid South Africa because it was fiercely anti-communist, but now the Warsaw Pact was dead, the leverage was gone. There was also one other reason. You see, with tensions running high, the white minority was worried about what the next majority-chosen government would look like. To simplify further, the white minority didn't trust the black government with nuclear weapons and so got rid of them. With this inevitable change coming, de Klerk felt that rehabilitating South Africa would be easier if its nuclear weapon program was ended. And in 1990, he did just that, and within a year, all 7 weapons had been decommissioned. 2 years later, he announced to the world that South Africa had previously had nuclear weapons, but had also gotten rid of them. South Africa had just made history. I hope you enjoyed this episode, and thank you for watching, with extra thanks to these patrons you can see on screen for their continued support. And an extra special thank
Wow.
I know this whole thing.
Push.
Y'all pulled up on me, I would have seen y'all niggas outside. I told you guys, chat, the city is a war zone.
At least
it is so bad. Okay, I mean, that's literally me, yeah. I mean, chat, that's me, no? Oh, somebody said no, thank you. Yo, somebody said no. Dude, I think I should mod this guy. Holy. I told you about. Yeah. You want something?
I'm just gonna
I don't care.
You're probably gonna throw that up anyway if you run a little bit, so don't worry.
True. Then you can eat it.
That's fucking gross.
I told you about. Yeah. You want something?
Hey X, Doom Medusa here, thanks for creating the best react
I will
content
instantly be
out
charmed
there.
by X by
IRL
that.
streams been going hard as well.
Bullying nothing
Welcome
no matter
to
what.
the jungle.
Okay, true. We already saw this. We already saw this.
Bitch dependency is no laughing matter. Addiction to a bitch can fuck with your friends,
50 ways
your
to
health,
months.
and scary enough even your money. It's a disease, Tom. Bitch dependency is no laugh.
Yeah, not only that, the people talk about the topic of addiction. And what is the worst addiction to have? The worst addiction is
Much love, everyone.
drugs,
Thanks for
gambling,
streaming.
alcohol, and all wrong. The worst addiction is love. Love is the worst addiction of all. By a long shot. By a long shot. Bang. Bang. Yo, wars were started because of the love addiction. Literally, million people died over the hand of love addiction.
The first time